Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am back with an update already. I wasn't expecting to have an update about Joe this soon, but I have one. And I'm kind of glad because I wanted to touch on a few other things. I have a lot to tell you guys over the past 3 months, but I've been quiet about it because I didn't want to, you know, I don't know. I was so sad when Joe left, Joe and Rocket, for 3 months, and then I was seeing Tony, so that kind of was a distraction. But I have a lot to talk about with that too, it's very weird to be with somebody, and know it's just not working, and then having them live with you for 8 months and then just be gone and you don't even know where they are. It's not a pleasant thing to go through. But I held on and I did what I had to do to just keep going. And it feels good, though, to be able to talk about it a little bit. Now, I do have my patrons and YouTube members that pay to hear my shit. And I keep them more up to date, with what's really going on, because it's like my only outlet sometimes, to just be able to tell a bunch of strangers how you feel. Sometimes it feels good just to get things out, but yet you're not spilling everything out to people because you want to kind of like not worry people or I don't know. It's just all, it's been quite the ride, and I don't regret anything. That amazes me because I'm the person who was always filled with regrets, but I think I'm so happy that I'm actually experiencing things and feeling things. When I'm heartbroken, it feels horrible, horrible. But yet I remember when I was so depressed, which was all food related as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the depressions I would go through were awful, and I don't do that anymore as carnivore. But back then, when I would be depressed, I felt nothing. And that's what's kind of scary. So it felt good to feel heartache because I thought, this is normal. This is, I went through something and I'm feeling something. That something will eventually pass and it's just going to be okay. So anyway, that's not why I jumped in here. I wanted to let you know that Joe called me last night and said that he was going to be released from the treatment center. Now, it's only been 5 days, maybe 6. It was a long process. It took 2 whole days and nights to get him into a treatment center because of his diabetes. Actually 3. We started working on one day. He did, because I was like, you want to go? You make some calls. I'll look up. He was at his friend's. Okay, his friend that he stays with is an old woman. I shouldn't say old woman. I'm an old woman. But she's older. 89, I believe, and her name starts with B, and we're in the South, so let's just call her Miss B. I'm going to call her Miss B, okay? Instead of just saying his friend or whatever. So he stays with Miss B, and he was there, and he was very depressed, and he wanted at least some phone numbers for me, and I looked up numbers. I texted him numbers, and he started making calls. And then the next day, I started following up on the ones that he kind of liked or was hopeful would take his insurance. And again, I have, I don't care how many insurance cards I print out for him. He's never going to have one on him. Things just disappear with him. And those are the things that drive me fucking crazy. But, right now I'm just trying to help him out. So, and then a lot of calls. And then the next day we went to the one that he chose. And that was, seemed to be a good fit with his insurance. And because he was diabetic, it was just jumping through hoops. And they wanted to keep him. We were there for hours. And they wanted to keep him that night. But his sugar was high. Now, he had a pen, an insulin pen, with him, but they lock our stuff up in a locker. And they said, because we want to admit you, we have to send you to the ER to get your sugar down before we admit you. And I was like, I didn't think this was happening tonight, because I wasn't ready for what. I didn't know anything. I'm like, what do we do? How does this work? I wanted to know those things. But apparently, what we sat there for hours and answered all those questions, I was like, wow, this is a lot of questions just to find out if they want to take him. But I didn't know it was going to happen right away. And Joe's like, I'm not going to the hospital and spending 4 or 5 hours in there. And I said, no, he's got his insulin. Just let him give himself a shot. And, and so they wouldn't. So now they were kind of pissed that we were just going to walk out of there. And so he had to sign an AMA against medical advice. And, we said, we'll come back tomorrow. I need to know, what does he need? What do I need to do? I want to know what's going on here too. And so we left. And then, and the other thing is, they said, okay, if you leave and come back, you have to come back with medical clearance from your doctor. And I said, he actually has an appointment tomorrow, whatever day that was, the next day, the next morning. And which is why he was with me in the first place, because he stays with me the night before we go to appointments. And I was like, asking all kinds of questions. What exactly does she need to say and all this and that? So we went the next morning, and she was so nice. She was like, yes, I would love for him to go to treatment, and I'm going to write this letter and all this stuff. And she gave us all the info we could have possibly needed. And then I called, and he called, and I called, and he called, because now they were dragging their feet about us coming back. And then they asked him to test his sugar, and it was a little bit high, not too high, but they said, you got to get it down to 250 or less for us to admit you. So now we had to wait a little bit more. He had more insulin, all that. So when it was like 250, he's like, let's go. I was like, yes, let's get you there. More hours of waiting, even though he did the whole intake, the questions and all that stuff the night before, still had to go through a lot of that. So I remember that I left at 10 p.m. and he still wasn't in a room. It was 2 very long days of just going through all that process. So then he was there, and he explained what it was like being there. It's no joyride in there. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe I could be here for a week or longer. But they had told him, we don't think it'll be that long. So anyway, he ended up coming out today, and just wanted to fill you guys in on that. When we were together, I wanted at some point to have Joe talk about his life a little. He likes to talk about his life, his stories, because he likes to help others. And I know when I told you that I was mentioning him because he said it was okay, because, he kind of misses not being part of my videos. I shouldn't have said it that way. It made it sound like he just wanted me to talk about him. He even said, you can tell, he's like, don't tell everything. I know I'm not, but he's like, but you can tell them, he says, because it might help someone. He loves to help others. And I agree. And I really want to try to be okay with talking about whatever I feel like talking about. And if he wants to talk whatever he wants to talk about, because I think we're so stifled. We're afraid to talk about things that are important to us. And it feels good to get things off our chests. And I have learned by being on YouTube for 10 years that we can help other people. So you guys left Joe such nice comments, and of course to Rocket too, and even to me. I don't want everybody to think that I'm telling this like how I like to help and stuff because I want some kind of pat on the back. I feel like I should be ashamed that I want to help so much, because it can be seen as somebody who's just a pushover or being sucked in. And that's not what's happening with me. I can promise you that. I just feel good about helping to an extent. Now let's take the relationship with Tony. I was the one giving, and I was not getting in return. I wanted to try for 3 months. Look, the day I met him, there was not like an instant connection. And I was like, okay, people say give it time, let's see. And I did, I gave it time. I was trying to get over Joe, and everything was a mess. And I was like, just gonna go for it. And I have a lot to talk about with that as to what I've learned through that experience. And I think some of you will be interested in that. But what was my fucking point? Now I've gone too far. Shit, do I have to fucking edit? Full of swear words today. I'm tired. I don't have to be tired to swear, you know that, right? Anyway, I don't know where I was going with it, but I don't know. I'm going to edit. Hang on. What's funny is I edited and I still don't know what my point was. So, I know I was saying that I am willing to help and to give care to others, to give things a chance, to experiment, but again, only to a certain point, right? There's a reason that Joe and I were apart for 3 months, and another reason why it's not the same as it was, probably never will be. Does not have a key to this apartment anymore, stuff like that. It's very, very different, and I'm okay with it, and I'm willing to try this just to see if he can get help. He'll just be such a happier man, and I want that for him, and I want to be able to be in Rocket's life too. The mood swings that he has, honestly, in two days from now, I'm whispering because he's here now. In 2 days from now, he could be gone again without letting me know where he is, and I wouldn't have a clue. And I understand that can happen at any time, so that's why I'm going to enjoy what time I have with Rocket and with Joe, and give him the help that I can in whatever time we have. I don't know. I don't want people to worry about me. I'm doing what feels good right now and what feels right for me and obviously for them. And I'm just curious to see if Joe can actually get on the right meds. He's on some different meds right now already. We're going to see how that works. And okay, but I do want to say that I wanted to let you know a comment. I had deleted it. So many of the comments are good, and I'm going to go through some because they're always coming in and they go to review, so I don't make them public. You can still see it if you left a comment and it's still in review, but the others can't. Nobody can until I push it out. And the comment was, we don't need to hear about Joe's issues. I never said anybody needs to. I never once thought anybody needs to. I don't talk because I think you need to hear it. I talk because I feel like I want to say it. I don't understand that way of thinking, because if you think about it, nobody needs to hear anything that I say. So if somebody wants to say we don't need to hear about Joe's issues, well, you don't need to hear about my issues either, or fun things that I do. You don't need to watch me crochet. You don't need to listen to me sew with my sewing machine. Nobody needs anything that I do. There's not a need involved in this. Everything I do and put out on YouTube is because I want to do that. Not because I think anybody needs it. Not even because I think it's going to help anybody. I mean, yeah, I want to help if I can. That's a bonus. But I am selfishly putting myself out there because it makes me feel good. Right? Oh my God, there's so many things that I wanted to say and do in this video, and now it's already going too long. let me just go to see what has been said. Comments for review. Let's see. See, I'm kind of embarrassed. You are a very good person to help Joe. I hope that the treatment helps him to balance his life out and do better with his diabetes and depression. And then she goes on, knowing that you'll always be there for Rocket. I don't know that I'll always be there for Rocket. That's what you guys, don't get, is that's a whole big issue with the mood swings and the promises that I'll have him, and then the promises that I'll never have him. That kind of stuff, right? And as a couple, that destroyed me. As a person who's looking at Joe as a person that I care for a lot, still love in so many ways, but I have an understanding now that things are different. And I can look at it in a way that, I can just help him to even get maybe through those things. I'd like to learn. And he has been officially diagnosed as bipolar. I saw the paperwork. Not that that's a good thing, but it's hopeful, I guess, maybe. Anyway, that's a good one. As a type 1, I have no comments other than glad you can help. Joe and Rocket, my best to Joe. Oh yes, we lose the idea of what could be absolute truth, because I had said that, when we're with someone, we plan things and we see the future and, oh, this would be great and all that stuff. And then when you split, you feel like you lost all those things, but you just lost your thoughts, your ideas of what could have been. We don't actually lose anything. We just lost that feeling of hopefulness. That's sad. Don't be a nurse. Take care of yourself. You are number one. Okay, so I get it. I do take care of myself, even though I look tired. Like somebody said, she goes, you look tired. She might as well have said, you look like fucking shit, because that's how I took it. Because I do look like fucking shit. I am tired. Okay, don't be a nurse. Take care of yourself. You are number one. Hell with caregiving. If he doesn't take care of himself, it's his issue. I'll tell you how she ended that in a minute. I do believe I said that, right? That I can't force things. I can't do things. I'm going to do what feels good for me, and that's it. And it's just like with the dog. A lot of people are trying to tell me, and a lot of those I didn't let through, how I have to do this, I have to do that, and, it's his dog. Plain and simple. I feel that he must be doing something right, because he's had that dog for 11, 12 years now, something like that. And I have to let go of wanting to control what happens with the dog, because it's out of my control. And I've discovered after this long break, because I cried for Rocket every fucking day. And if I were to go back to the things I was posting in my daily chats, there's a lot of days that I said, I cried so hard for Rocket today. They'll know that I had said that. I didn't say it every day, but I cried every day. I'm so happy to be in that dog's life, even a little bit, that I want to play it in a way now that there can be peace between me and Joe, even if it's just for the sake of Rocket. I want it for the sake of Joe's mental health too. And I want peace for myself. I don't want to be crying every day. So I'm just going to give in and give up trying to control his relationship with his own dog. It's not like he's not neglecting Rocket. I just worry because if he's out somewhere or doing something and they're out, and he's famous for not having Rocket on a leash. Wherever he stays, Rocket, goes out. I leash him, obviously, when I'm walking around the apartment complex, but at night I'll just walk outside with him and let him do his stuff. But I just worry that, Joe could have some kind of diabetic episode and the dog gets away. I have to stop thinking like that. I just do. I can't control it, and I don't want to. Yeah, so she ended that with, I'll reread it. Don't be a nurse. Take care of yourself. You are number one. Hell with caregiving. If he doesn't take care of himself, it's his issue. He's a loser. Now, all of that would have been okay, because it's just reminding me, of course, I have to take care of myself, which I do. All of this that I'm doing by helping is taking care of myself. If you are a person who doesn't like to help, you might see this as though I'm taking on this monumental task that's hurting me in some way, and I'm not. I cut 2,600 2-inch squares last night and today, Halloween prints, and some might think, who the fuck would want to do that? Like it's some kind of punishment. I enjoyed it. It was relaxing. Now I'm cutting, I don't know, over 1,000 5-inch squares. Should I be committed? Am I doing something wrong? I think people just assume that everybody feels the way they would feel, and I'm not going to let people change my mind. I'm going to do what I feel like doing. And he's not a loser. I mean, if he's a loser, then we're all losers, right? Because we all have shit. I just think that's mean and uncalled for, and I'm deleting it right now. So nobody ever got to see that. You just got to hear me read it. My best to Joe. Now think of it. Think of all the nice things, because there's a lot of nice things. Go look at the comments. He'll get to hear all that. By me talking about it, he's going to know that there's a lot of people who still care, you know? I'm not going to go through more of these because I'm going to cry. Yeah, Rocket's the luckiest of all. Of course, everybody roots for the dog, right? The people are just secondary. That's how I feel for the most part, too. Yeah, anyway, yeah, you know, just people say nice things about me, and that's not why I'm doing this, but it is nice, and it does give me hope that it might help someone else. Now, if someone else is a person like me doing these things and they're being told by people you shouldn't do that, I can't even imagine anybody ever saying you shouldn't help someone, but people do, because of the character of the person we're helping. And I think sometimes people who are down and out or uncontrollable or traumatized and suffering are the ones who need some help now and then. I could be wrong. Maybe we should just kick them. Kick them while they're down. I don't know. But I wanted to show you a little clip, and I'll do that in the next video. A little clip of Rocket before they left, and I wasn't able to ever upload that. It was just a little clip that I was going to stick in a video, and I'll try to do that the next time, because now I have to go still cut a shitload of 5-inch squares. I know that could be wrong. It could be wrong for me to do. I'm gonna do it. And Joe is going to be here for tonight, because I know he's very, very tired, and I'll give you details of what it's like in treatment. And again, you know, at some point, if we remain friends, he can absolutely get on camera. I always would have liked that for him. But, you know, stuff falls apart. Stuff can fall apart anytime. But I do want to fill you in on some of the stuff that I went through for the past 3 months. I've been dying to talk about it. And it's all good, all right? So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be back with more soon. And if you want to say hi to Joe in the comments, you can. I give you permission. It's not wrong. It's not a bad thing. Bye.